Here's another Italian biting the dust. The bombers of the Imperial Air Forces were a smashing success. At last, headed by music strange indeed to the Abyssinians, the Imperial troops enter Addis Ababa. Escorted by a squad of Italian motorcycle police, the general officer commanding drives to the Viceroy's palace to accept the surrender of the city. Addis Ababa became the capital of Abyssinia in 1896, and it has been under Italian rule for the last 5 years. But all that is ended now. It regains its freedom as the colors of tyranny are hauled down to make way for the standard of liberty. The Italian Guard of Honor salutes the new regime. The fall of Addis Ababa does not quite mean the end of the Abyssinian campaign, but it's a good step towards it. This is a proud day for those who are leading this campaign to its victorious conclusion. From the Viceroy's palace, the General Officer commanding goes to the Hall of Battle to read the official proclamation to the Abyssinian chiefs. This is the moment they have waited for. The oppressor's yoke is off, and the chief city of their land can raise its head. The flag flies again. The long-awaited day has at last arrived. The Emperor returns to his capital. Ahead of him ride and march his victorious patriot troops. High tribute has been paid to these men for their courage and endurance in action and under the hardship of long marches. The Emperor in his car moves forward through the approaches to the city lined with hundreds of his joyful subjects. For them, freedom is riding in that car, with Haile Selassie as its symbol. For 5 years they have suffered under the Italian invader. For 5 years the fascists have systematically hunted down and exterminated those young Abyssinians who had set themselves to the task of civilizing and emancipating their country. The conquerors have been swept away, and with them has gone tyranny and suppression. Arrived in the city, the Emperor is greeted by the General Officer commanding. From the steps of the palace, he makes his first address to the people of the Ethiopian capital. On the anniversary of the day when 5 years ago he was forced to fly from the Italian aggressor, the Negus places himself once more at the head of his people. Their independence is safe, but Haile Selassie knows full well the great task that lies before him. But in his hands and with the assistance of Britain, the reconstruction of his country is assured. Abyssinia lives again. Addis Ababa, capital city of the Ethiopian Empire, and the scene recently of an historic event. Here in this room on the 29th of January of this year, an agreement was ratified between Great Britain and Ethiopia. It was more than just a document which was signed on that day by the Emperor Haile Selassie and Major General Sir Philip Mitchell. It was the first example of the redeeming of a solemn pledge, the pledge given by the democracies to fight for and finally liberate all those countries overrun by fascist aggression.
price for supporting fascism. The twin monster of Hitler and Mussolini came to destroy them, resulting in the Second European World War. All of Europe was decimated. Judgment too came down on Italy. Floods, earthquake came. The end came for the Pope and Mussolini.
Here is the world's news in pictures, and this is Pathé Gazette screening it. With the macabre scenes in Milan, where the bodies of Benito Mussolini, his fascist accomplices, and his mistress Clara Petacci were kicked and spat upon by a seething crowd. From Milan, Mussolini began the march on Rome, which lifted him to power. In the same city, his story ended in this frenzied crescendo of hate and degradation, his body hanging from the roof of a petrol station.